All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Prop Live. I'm Bill Duran from Punished Props. And every week, I do this thing here. You guys show up and ask prop and costume making questions. And usually every week, I have a guest on. I did not last week. But this week, I nailed down a guest. We have my new buddy, Jordan from Henchmen Props. Hey, Jordan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Things are pretty good here. We got some people piling into the live stream here. We got a whole bunch of questions, but first, we're gonna grill Jordan and see what he's all about and what he's up to. For those of you who don't follow Jordan's stuff, you should. He does this thing, he calls it Henchman Props and Cosplay. If you look up Henchman Props on Facebook, you'll find it. He also has an Etsy store, also Henchman Props, if you look up. He's got a whole bunch of really cool stuff there, some props like this really cool Krieg's mask that I kind of want over here. Did you have this at, I can't remember, at Phoenix Comic Con?
I wore a different skin, so I did a different skin of it, so it was different color combo. Actually, I have it right here.
Oh, cool. So I have chatted with Jordan back and forth a little bit, but I've met him at Phoenix Comic Con a couple of weeks ago. We did some panels together and we hung out. And Jordan's a super swell guy and makes some really rad stuff. So you guys should definitely go check out his things and buy them and enjoy them forever. Actually, the Buzz Axe I kind of want the most. This is the one I want right there. Good stuff. And you just did a photo shoot. There's lots of cool stuff. This one with our mutual friend Jessica.
Yep.
Which was really rad. But the other one I saw, I'm gonna dig back. It can't be too far. This one right here. That is super super cool. From Darshell Stevens.
She's amazing. Blows my mind every time.
Oh yeah, it's just an amazing collaboration between cosplayer and photographer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, so everyone definitely go check out Henchman Props and Cosplay, and also go check out Darshell Stevens. I'll pop this up too because she's a wizard with a camera and doing some really awesome stuff. And I'm hoping I got to talk to her actually at Phoenix Comic Con. Hopefully, I can do something with her at BlizzCon, which would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
I just heard my shopmate sneeze. Let's see here. So, you were not in the first what am I calling it? Men vs. Cosplay, right? You're going to be in the next one?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So one of the main reasons why I was hanging out with Jordan at Phoenix Comic Con is our friend Annabelle did this calendar. In fact, I've got mine right here. Ta-da! With Chris right there, looking super badass. And I was in the first calendar, and Jordan is going to be in the second one. And you're doing a shoot for that at Fan Expo, you say?
Yeah. So for my costume for that is going to be my Krieg, with that the DLC skin with all the tattoos all over him. And what we're doing, I'm setting up with some friends and trying to get some other people who are going to be at Fan Expo in Toronto in August. We're trying to do a group shoot and get some sweet pictures with a big Borderlands group of guys for the calendar. So I think we have about 8 guys right now committed. So
is that an open group? Are you trying to recruit more people?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I will show you guys then. If you go to Facebook and look up Men vs. Cosplay Borderlands Shoot, you'll find it. This guy right here for Fan Expo. So if you're a Borderlands cosplayer and you're going to go to Fan Expo, then you definitely want in on this.
You have to be it's Men vs. Cosplay, so you do have to be a guy.
We're looking for dudes. So if you're a dude cosplayer and you're doing a Borderlands thing at Fan Expo, then you got to be in on that because it's going to be rad.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't show up and watch, because some people might want to see a whole bunch of dudes.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we'll be hanging out. That's on Saturday, and we'll probably be hanging out for most of the day as a big group anyway. So
Oh yeah,
it'll be lots of fun.
There, I saw a lot of Borderlands cosplayers at Phoenix Comic-Con. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. Our friend Steven was there in his Psycho, which was really rad. Cool. Well, before we get started with your guys' questions, of which we have a whole bunch, I see people piling in. By the way, if you guys are live and you want to ask a question, there's the Q&A app in the event page. You can start populating that list with your questions. I also have a bunch from earlier today. But before we do all that, I have a couple things I want to talk about because it's my show and I get to do that. First of all, a couple weeks ago I released this ebook about making armor from foam, and it's been going really, really well. And by the way, folks, punishprops.com is where everything is getting posted nowadays, so you want to keep an eye on that old website I got there. But yeah, Foamsmith Volume 1 available now. It's $5. It's an ebook, and it'll get you going to make your foam armor right away for super cheap. And the part 2 is going to be coming really, really soon. I've already started writing that, and people are chomping at the bit for it. But if you haven't gotten part 1, then I recommend you go grab that right now. Oh, yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the next event I'm going to is Nerdtacular. It's a really small event in Salt Lake City for the Frog Pants podcast network. But I will be there with my brother, his wife, and my wife, and we will be running the costume contest, which should be really, really fun. So if there are any Frog Pants community members watching right now, then you want to make a costume and bring it, or buy a costume and bring it, or whatever. Wear a costume to Nerdtacular, because it's going to be a really good time. There. That's it. That's all I've got left to say. Jordan, what do you say to answering some questions about prop and costume making?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Awesome. I will start. Let's see here. This one, the first question coming in from Facebook. Earlier today on my Facebook page, I posted a picture, and people asked their questions there, so I could collect some early on in the day. This first one comes from Josh. He says he just finished painting a prop with rattle can silver paint, Rust-Oleum Bright Coat Aluminum to be exact. Would you recommend weathering right on that coat of paint, or should I spray a thin coat of clear finish over the silver and then weather on top of that? What would you say to that, Jordan?
When I do rattle can paint, I usually just weather right on top and then seal it when it's all done, for the most part.
I would probably do that too. The only time I would worry about it is if it's the same kind of paint. So if you use a rattle can and it's an acrylic and you weather with acrylic paint, it could pull the layer off below it. It doesn't hurt to spray a little extra on a spare piece and test it beforehand. But I think you're right, Jordan. I don't think you'll have much problem weathering right on top of it. I know a lot of stuff, especially if I'm building something I know is going to get a lot of wear and tear, or an area like a handle that's going to get held a lot. It'll end up getting like 5 or 6 coats of clear coat, between different layers and stuff anyway. So it doesn't hurt to put it on, but you probably don't have to worry too much about it.
Might be overkill.
Might be, but
better safe than sorry, though.
Yeah, sure. Better safe than sorry. All right. This question coming from the Q&A app. This is about the Men vs. Cosplay. It says, the question from Freaky Egan about the Men vs. Cosplay. Are there only psychos? I don't know. Who have signed up? What other classes or characters have signed up for that?
It originally started as kind of, I was thinking, only doing psychos, but then there was definitely, there's a lot of cool characters in Borderlands that I love, and when I found out people are doing them and are going to be, I was like, okay, have to open it up. It's like we have right now a bunch of psychos. We have a buddy of mine is doing Handsome Jack. We have a friend from Buffalo coming up who's doing a male Mad Moxley. So
nice.
That'll be fun.
I haven't seen that before. That's a great idea. Let's see here. I'm just grabbing a link here. So, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm really stoked to see that turn out. I haven't done a Borderlands costume. I gotta do one of those. Did you actually, Jordan? Did you ever see my brother made a claptrap like puppet? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw pictures of it.
Yeah, we're trying to get a bunch of those. We gotta see. My brother's a high school teacher, and once he gets out of school next week, he's going to be helping out. We want to get a whole bunch of those at Dragon Con, so we're going to put something together. We actually, I'll let everyone know that. I got a group that I can promote here. Claptrap, there we go. So if people are going to Dragon Con and they want info on how they might make their own claptrap for that, we have, if you go to Facebook and look up Claptrap Army Dragon Con, you'll find it. It's an open group, just has to be invited, and you'll get right in. Yeah, so another Borderlands thing to look forward to. Thank you for your question, Freaky Eggin. Cool. All right, this next question comes from Mike. I believe this is the Mike that came to PropCon last weekend, which was my local prop convention that I just invented. That 10 people showed up to. 2 of them were not personal friends of mine until after the event, so it was a rousing success.
Yeah.
So Mike wants to know, hey Jordan, he loves your stuff. Mike's a nice guy. He says, he's sure you get this question a lot, but when it comes to fitness, what kind of routine do you follow, and do you stick to any particular diet?
I'll diet first. Short answer is no. To be honest, I've just, for the most part, always just made healthy choices. That's really kind of the key thing, is if you're making healthy choices, 80% of the time, you're doing pretty well.
There you go. I am constantly fighting the monkey on my back, which is eating terrible, terrible foods. Actually, I posted it earlier today. My friend Holly, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, Holly Conrad, she tweeted out something like, "Oh, check out these awesome chips I got," and there were these Kettle brand maple bacon potato chips. Oh my god! So she tweeted that out a couple days ago. I was at the store and I saw them, and I have zero willpower, and I went over and I bought them. They're really good.
Yeah, no, I definitely am a sucker for snacks and sweets and that, but if you can choose right more than you choose wrong.
Yeah. So are you do you do any sort of particular exercise routine or anything?
Nothing crazy. I used to train a lot more because of sports. Was doing sports for a while. But now, yeah, I usually work out 4 or 5 days a week, and for anywhere from usually around 45 minutes. So
yeah,
I do. Close.
Yeah, it gets really hard when you got all those freaking deadlines for Dragon Con coming up. I do. So folks who've been following me a while know that I do a fitness segment on a podcast. In fact, Mike wants to know if I'm still doing that. Yes, Mike. Every Tuesday on the morning stream on Frog Pants Network, I do a fitness thing. Because I used to do sports like crazy when I was in high school, but then college came around and I discovered video games and beer, and that took a pretty terrible plunge for the worst. And I have since crawled back out of that lifestyle, but it's a constant distraction and temptation for me because I'm an eater. Oh man, I'm an eater. But no, next year at Phoenix Comic Con, I want to do a shirtless costume because it's really warm there, and that seemed like a really good idea.
Yeah. It definitely paid off for me, I think. Having a couple like that.
Yep, for sure. Actually, I was convinced by a photographer to do a shoot outside in my Mass Effect costume, and that was That was pushing it as far as the heat.
Yeah, that would be warm.
All right. Let's grab another question from the Q&A app here. This one's from Leafy. Leafy wants to know, when making blueprints in Inkscape, what file type do you save as, and do you have to use an outside extension to print it? Do you do any sort of blueprinting or drawing in vectors at all?
Not in vectors. I've been trying to get into it, but like I just don't have the time to learn something new right now. So.
Oh yeah. Now, do you usually just draw out stuff, pen and paper, that sort of thing?
Yeah, for the most part.
I'll tell you, one of the main reasons I started drawing stuff for vector is, one, so that I can reproduce it easily, but two, so that I can sell them. Because for folks that don't know, if you go to my website, any of the blueprints I've made are for my props. You can just buy them, and you get the file I output it to is a PDF. Usually is the easiest way, because then you can take a PDF to any printer in the world and be like, hey, can you print this full size? And if they have the right size printer, they'll do it. Generally, I try and keep one of the dimensions at least lower than 3 feet wide, because most medium or large format printers are 3 feet wide, and they can print as long as there's memory. What was the rest of the question? Do you use an outside extension to print it? So I will, if it's too big to do in a normal 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, I will just bring it to Staples or Office Max or whatever's closest and have them print it. You can do it black and white, laser. Even a really big thing is super cheap if it's line art, like blueprints. But you can also get, I can't remember the name of it, but there's an application you can get that'll print out a giant image using your normal printer with like registration marks, so you can tape them all together. So you can do a big one that way too. You'll have to look that up. I don't remember what that was called. But seriously, just go to Staples. It's like $5 to get a giant print. All right, thank you, Leafy. Good luck with your blueprints. All right, Adam wants to know. Let's see here. Is that Adam? Yeah, Adam wants to know, is there any way to clear coat a metallic paint and keep that shine, preferably as a rattle can? What do you like to do for your metal finishes?
I usually spray. Like I usually just use rattle cans for mine. I just have like the standard Krylon. I have their gloss varnish and their matte one. I know you use you always talked about the stuff we use with the airbrush.
Yeah. So I won't always do this, but I'm using my airbrush a lot more lately. But I will use a flat rattle can for most finishes.
Yeah.
But I'm more and more wanting to do things a little more sophisticated and use different types of finishes. So if one part of the prop needs to be more or less shiny, mask it off and use a different clear coat, put a gloss on part of it, or put a flat or a satin on another one. But it does, Adam's right, it does cut that metallic shine right out.
Yeah.
So the stuff that you're talking about, the airbrush stuff, it's the metallizer lacquer that Tester makes. They also sell a sealer for it, and that does a really good job of keeping that metallic shine. And so far, that is the only method I've found that does it. Now, I know some of those metallizer lacquers come in a rattle can. I'm not sure if the sealer does, but you could go to the hobby store and find out. That's what I would recommend. Also, Adam, seriously, go get an airbrush. It's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely need to test that stuff out. You've been talking about it, and you love it, so. It's
so good. I just recently put together some stuff with that metallizer lacquer, and I love it. Love it so much. Do you have an airbrush,
yep.
Jordan? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of those things that that once you start using it, you're like, oh, how did I ever do without it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. Well, like anything, it has its place, has its uses. Definitely, when you want nice gradients and shading on things, it makes it so easy.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, that's one of those things where practicing has a much bigger impact than the brand of or quality of airbrush you have. just getting good at whichever airbrush you have is the best thing you can do to make it look really good.
Yeah, for sure.
I am looking into doing more HVLP painting, so the big air-powered can. Because with the rattle can, like only a third of that is paint. The rest of it's accelerant, and it's really expensive to do it that way using a rattle can. And you can get the same paint with a lot more options for a lot cheaper if you use an air compressor and use your own sprayer.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get into that a little more.
You can probably mix colors a little better and have more options.
Right. Yeah, and you could even get like a brand of paint that you really like, buy a couple of really big cans of it, and just mix your own colors.
Yeah.
So there you go, Adam. If you really want to get that finished just right, get an airbrush. All right, another question coming in. This is coming from someone named Xander. This is not Xander Brandt from Z-Props. This is a different Xander. He wants to know, do you ever use the blue insulation foam in any portion of your prop making, and if so, can it be molded into special shapes? By blue insulation foam, I'm pretty sure he means the extruded polystyrene, or sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's blue or yellow. You ever use that stuff, Jordan?
Yeah, I use it quite a well. Depends. For bigger things, yeah, keeping weight down. I use it for shields, different stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I did a shield about a year ago, and to get the bulk of it, that's exactly what I did. Or I know people will use for helmets too. If they're going to sculpt out a helmet or whatever, they'll use that to get the mass and then work on top of it. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's super, super cheap, and if you want to mold it or sculpt it, you can just use like a sharp knife. You can use a Dremel. You can use sandpaper. It sands really, really easily, so you can even just go to town and sculpt it with a piece of sandpaper.
Get a nice smooth finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go, Xander. Go play with some extruded polystyrene and have fun with it, because you can just throw it away if you screw up. All right. Here we go. This one's coming from John. He says, what advice could you give to someone who is teetering on the edge of trying cosplay? How would you convert me over to the dark side? He also is curious if we have cookies. What got you into cosplaying there, Jordan?
Well, first off, just jump into it. That's really, jump into it as quickly as you can, because you'll regret if you put it off and wait, because it is so much fun and the community is awesome. I got started. I knew what cosplay was. I didn't have a lot of conventions near me growing up when I was in school, but it's actually when I moved out to Calgary, where I was living there for a year and a half. I was playing a video game called Firefall, and they sponsored a cosplayer, Crystal Graziano.
Yeah, Crystal's awesome.
Yeah, she is amazing, and that's where I first kind of found out that people did this just for fun, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah. For me, I'll tell you what, it was my friends who got me into it, who just, then that was the thing, try it once. Just say, whatever, I'm going to try it the one time, because after that, you can't stop. So we did it, we did the Team Fortress characters at PAX over here in Seattle, and we were stopped for pictures, like, constantly, like, you get that bug. You're like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of like a celebrity for a day. And then you're like, well, what are we going to do next time? We got to do it again. So that's my advice is the same. Just jump into it. Pick a character you really, really like and give it a go. And if you can, get your friends to go with you. Do a group thing. Here we go. Here's Crystal's boop Firefall.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was a really cool build, the whole behind the scenes on how they did those.
Yeah.
The other guy they had was an American Gladiator, I think. How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right, so John, go for it. Just go for it and get your friends in on it, and pick a character you love, and it'll be a good time. And then it'll rule the rest of your life, just like me. All right, this next question coming in from the Q&A app. This is from Archel. Any advice for carrying around a large prop or gun during a convention? Do you integrate them into your costume for storing, or set them aside and use them just for photo shoots? I'll tell you, I have not done for myself a really big prop just for that very reason. It can be very cumbersome. It can get in the way. You have to keep track of it all the time. You don't want to drop it or break it or hit someone with it. So I have never really done a big prop for myself. How about you, Jordan?
Same thing. I've done some. I had a big shield, but same thing. It's like even with a big shield, you're limited in what you can do and where you can go and take it. So.
Yeah. What I would recommend if you're going to do like a whole weekend thing is if you want that big prop, make one costume that uses the big prop, and then either have a second costume that you can go change into, or just a second prop, like another prop that would go with that character as well. And then when you get tired of carrying around a giant gun or something, go back to your room or whatever and trade out for the smaller thing that's a little more casual. And there you go. So there. Yes. Oh, and that for photo shoots too. You could even just bring the big prop for the photo shoot if you want. So there you go. Good luck with your gigantic prop, whatever it is, Archel.
If you definitely go with some friends so they can watch.
Yeah.
You don't swing and hit people with it.
Yeah, having a handler or having friends that you can pawn your crap off on. Like if you have to go use the restroom, be like, here, hold this for me. I'm gonna go take care of business. All right, this next question is coming from Dan. Dan wants to know, I'm currently about to finish my first prop, the Halo Magnum, and I'm thinking about making this a little local business for any cosplayer or game lovers in my town. Before I start making props for other people, what other items do you think I should try building? And I'll tell you, before I do this as a business, but before I did that, I just built stuff that I thought was cool. If you want to do it for a business, you may just try and build like the Halo Magnum. Everyone's going to love that because there's a lot of Halo fans. So you could even pick something else that you think or you're pretty confident a lot of other people will like. Something from Skyrim, perhaps. I've done a couple of Skyrim things. Or, yeah, do a Borderlands thing. Do you now, Jordan? So you have your Etsy store where you sell props and stuff. Do you pick stuff to make to put on there that for what's your motivation behind the stuff that you pick?
Usually it's stuff that I want to make anyways. I'm getting more into doing a lot more commission stuff. So like I did Kratos, like his armor pieces and the Blades of Athena from God of War, that series, and that was a commission. But still a game I love. So it's always fun doing projects that you love and other people love. Are more popular because you can share that kind of fanboy.
Yeah. I'll tell you the sort of like happy the dream scenario would be for me to only ever make things that are my favorite, but also other people want. And you don't always, if you're doing it for a living, you don't always get to pick that. Let me see if I can find this. I have an album. Here we go. I have an album on my Facebook page, and this is all stuff that I want to make. Stop loading. There we go. So this is all stuff that I think is really, really neat that I would love to make. So, for example, this giant crazy bandit submachine gun from Borderlands I think would be super cool. And if someone wants to pay me to make that, I would totally make that because it's so neat. Or this gun from Saints Row that shoots out shark or fish bits. So that's the real trick, isn't it? Like building stuff that you really, really want to make, but also people will want to buy.
If you're doing it on the side, kind of, as a hobby, even if you're selling them and have a small business out of it, if it's not your full-time dependent income, you have a lot more freedom with the projects. You can kind of choose a lot more. It's when you start taking on commissions and depending on that as your income, that's where you get less say. But
Yeah.
it's still fun building things. So
Yeah, that's what the way I looked at it too is so long as I'm building something, I'm usually pretty happy.
yeah.
Although if I right now, I'll tell you, if there was one project that I would jump at the chance to build, I've been playing WildStar a whole lot, and I play an engineer, and I really want to build an engineer bot. That would be so cool. Little facial expressions. That would be the one. Like, in the moment, like that right now, that's the one I would really want to pick. If you had something, Jordan, that someone came to you with like a really good budget, what would that thing be that you would just jump at?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's hard.
What games are you playing right now?
Mostly League of Legends.
Okay.
Kind of bounce between a few different things. So there's definitely a ton of League of Legends costumes I want to make.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's too many good ones. Yeah.
But something from League of Legends, you would jump at a chance.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The thing with that though is all the weapons and props are gigantic.
Yeah, it's true. They're super massive.
Yeah, I made a bow from it for Archlate Varus, and the bow, like I did it full scale. It was commissioned that I wanted it full scale, so the full scale bow was 7 feet long.
Oh my goodness. but you wanted it to be full scale, so you got to commit.
Yeah. So, but no, like I built it so it broke down into 8 different pieces, so I could ship it across the country, and all worked out.
Wow, that's great. Here you go. That's this guy right there. Check that out. Holy crap, that's huge. Now, what did you end up making most of that out of?
I actually originally I carved. So what was it? I carved, because it's double-sided. So I carved basically one side in 4 different pieces out of insulation foam. And then went in that, coated that, and kind of did Bondo, that whole Bondo resin, kind of get things smooth and all the holes filled in. And then because the backside is mirrored, and sorry, being so huge, I needed to keep it light.
Yeah, that's key.
So, and the Bondo weighs things down.
Mm-hmm.
So what I ended up doing was I molded those 4 pieces, and then I cast them in Smooth-On's Featherlight resin.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and they're all just kind of shell castings, so it's hollow on the inside.
Yeah.
But I use the resin and fiberglass for strength, and then I have kind of like a metal pipe going through the middle of it to keep it all together and strong. But yeah, so it was kind of crazy to mold something that big. Probably won't do that for a while.
Yeah, and expensive, no doubt.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. But it ended up being, the finished bow ended up being 9.5 pounds. So
that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. So hopefully,
not so much more.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hopefully that answered your question, Dan. Try and find that happy medium between something you really, really want to make and something that someone else is willing to pay you to make. All right. Let's grab another question. Let's see here. Boop. This question's coming from Bandit Spurs. Do you have any advice for someone about to take on their first commission armor build? So, when you start taking commission work, especially, and I'll tell you one thing, I don't do commission armor anymore, like full sets of armor, because it is extremely challenging, especially over a distance, to get measurements, to get fittings. It's really, really challenging, and I don't really do that anymore. I focus mostly on props. But if you want to do armor builds for other people and take commissions on that, good on you. Go for it. But I would say, if you can somehow meet with the person that you're taking the commission from and get really good measurements, and not like their inseam, because that's usually for armor. No one cares about their inseam. Measurements that are relevant to armor. So like the diameter of your forearm and the diameter of your wrist. And the diameter, this is important, your wrist around your thumb, because if you have to slide a forearm piece of armor off, that's going to be the choke right there. So that's what I would say. If you're going to do commission armor stuff, getting really good measurements is a super huge challenge.
Also, if you can, I was just say, get them to do like a duct tape body form or mannequin. That way, especially if they're not local, get them to do that and then send it to you, because that will definitely make sizing a lot easier.
So you could have them do the duct tape form, and then before they stuff it, it's just a flat thing. They could just mail that. It would be really cheap to do. Then you get it and stuff it with newspaper or whatever. You got a body form. I wish I had thought to do that when I was taking armor commissions. That would have been really helpful. Other than that, Bandit Spurs, I would also recommend that it's way better if you can to overestimate how much time and money it's going to cost to make it.
Yeah.
And then if the ballpark figure is close enough and they're still willing to go for it, awesome. And after the fact, you can always bump the price back a little bit in case you over-exaggerated. Because I know the first couple times I did armor builds, I way undercharged what I should have charged for my work. So don't undervalue your time. There we go. All right, thank you, Bandit Spurs. Good luck with your armor commission. Let's grab another here. The last one that I got from Facebook. This is from Tim. How do I glue 2 sheets of pink insulation foam together for handheld props? There is this really awesome website. Whenever anyone asks me, hey, how do I glue this to that? Like, why? There's a website called thistothat.com. Hooray!
That's so cool. I never knew that.
Oh, yeah. Thistothat.com. So there are 2 things here, 2 drop-down menus. So how do I glue fabric to glass? Or how do I glue paper to wood? Or whatever. So in this case, how do I glue styrofoam to styrofoam? Let's glue. And it gives you a lot. It doesn't just say use X. This says, for the strongest and least toxic bond, we recommend weld bond. And if we click on that, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different stuff, cost, a whole bunch of really cool information, an official website for it, a place that sells it. And the great thing is, if you can't find that particular one, they'll give you some more options. If you need to carve the styrofoam and need an adhesive that is easy to cut through, we recommend this. So that sounds like that may be a little more appropriate to what you're doing. And if you're looking for an easier, faster alternative, we recommend 3M77. And this is a spray adhesive, a very common spray adhesive. So there you go, Tim. Thistothat.com. And for everyone else watching, if you're ever wondering, for example, how to glue, let's say, metal to plastic, let's say like that, let's glue, they say JB Weld, which is exactly what I would go with. And then it also recommends clamping can make the difference between success and failure here. So also use that adhesive, but make sure you clamp it. There you go. Thank you, everyone, for asking questions on Facebook. We will round out the next 20 minutes by bringing in your questions from the event page here. So here we go. Another one, this one's from Lucas. What's this? Have props replaced 40K or other modeling? I'm not sure what that question quite means.
Like Warhammer 40K.
Oh, Warhammer.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Warhammer.
Okay, I actually, before I got into doing props, I used to do commission small scale model painting.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and doing sculpting and molding, and that's how I learned how to do molding and casting, was actually molding and casting model parts. I definitely don't think it's taken over. I definitely think, like, I used to be a lot more involved in that, and not so much anymore. But like, when I was doing that, I did that for however many years. I did that all growing up, before I really knew that people made props. So it's really a big separate community almost. So that's I feel like when you're in one, you don't necessarily see the other and how big it is. But I definitely like that game's still growing strong and still thriving.
That's pretty cool. The only thing I've ever done is just painting little minis for D&D. I've never cast or sculpted any of mine, but it does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's cool. A lot of it was when I got into prop making. A lot of those skills, transfer over. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, if anyone is looking to get into mold making and start learning that, starting with small scale stuff is great because it's a lot less expensive than, say, maybe a massive 7-foot long bow.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, there you go, Lucas. Hopefully that helped you out. All right, this next question is coming from Carrie. The question is, Jordan, what do you use for cell shading on your body, and how do you make it stay during the whole day?
I use I've tried so many different paints, and the stuff that I've settled on and I love is called Wolf Effects. So WOLFE and then just space FX, and it is great stuff. Honestly, I usually don't even bother sealing it. As long as you're not. The only time if I have high friction areas, that's the only time it'll rub. Normally, like all day, it really will last a good while. You definitely can spray seal it. I know like Ben Nye spray sealer is good.
Here you go. We got their website right here, wolffx.com. There you go. Look at all that good stuff.
Yeah, they have just small palettes and that's what I use. They're pretty cheap. It's definitely a fair price, and it's all water-based stuff, and it definitely. But then again, if you're going to be anywhere where you're sweating lots or it's raining, you definitely want to seal it a lot better.
I've done that. I haven't done very much makeup stuff, but for my Dragon Age Hawk costume, I have he has like a blood smear across his nose, and he has a red tattoo on his shoulder. So I did I think it was all Ben Nye stuff, just red paint, body paint or whatever. But I used that spray sealer again, and that worked fine. That worked really, really well. Yeah. So there you go.
Definitely, there's your cheap party store paints won't do much for you though.
No, I got the I think the Ben Nye stuff is what I use, and that worked out really well. Yeah. All right. Let's thank you, Carrie, for your question. Got a handful more. We still got plenty of time. We got about 15 minutes left. If you guys have any more questions, make sure you just send them in using the Q&A app, and we'll answer them. All right, another one from Leafy. Leafy wants to know, will you have a booth at DragonCon or doing any panels? Jordan, are you going to DragonCon or no?
Oh, that's the same weekend as Fan Expo, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about this. I was like, you should go to DragonCon because it's awesome.
Next year
I will definitely be at DragonCon. I'm always at DragonCon. But I will not have a booth, or I don't think I'm doing any panels. Last year I did a panel with a handful of friends on the ethics of cosplay. That was really, really good. But I don't, unless someone asked me to do a panel in between now and then, I would happily do one. But I'm not slated to do any right now. And it's kind of nice going to a convention and having zero obligations, because normally I'm on like 3 panels and I have stuff to do. So I'm just going to go to DragonCon and have a good time.
Yep.
All right. But Leafy, tell you what, if you go to DragonCon and you hang out by the Pulse Bar, you'll run into me. Guaranteed. It's going to happen. That's where I'll be. All right, another one from Freaky Egan. Jordan. Oh, this one is about the makeup again. We got that. Freaky
Sweet.
Egan. We got Wolf Effects. Boom. That makeup right there. Done.
It's good stuff.
All
Highly
right.
recommend it.
Here we go. Oh, it's Kiwi. This is a regular. Hi, it's Kiwi. What are your favorite in-person craft and art shops? Apparently, it's Kiwi just arrived in the U.S. for the summer and want to peruse stuff that can't normally get. Do you have any favorite local stores for getting your crafting stuff, Jordan?
Not most of my stuff. I'm in Canada, so a lot of different places. Most of my sculpting and all the like my mold stuff all comes from Sculpture Supply Canada, which is in Toronto. But other than that, I bring a lot off order a lot of stuff in because it's just easier than
I
trying
do
to
you
track
you
things
guys
down.
probably don't have a Reynolds up there, do you?
No.
Yeah, they have one in Phoenix, and they don't have one in Seattle. Darn it! But they have one in Phoenix, so I went up to their booth and I just started grilling them for info, and I was like, "Hey, you guys should open a Reynolds in Seattle for all of your molding and casting needs." My favorite local place up here in Seattle is Tap Plastics. They're really really great. I really like their tin cure for box molds and stuff. I like their tin cure silicone RTV because you can like stare at it a long time and barely mix it, and that will still cure like no problem, which I
Really?
love. Um, but also, I mean, the great thing about having a local place like Tap is I can go there and grill them for information, and they love to talk shop and they love to see what I'm working on. Because I make space guns, and most people that shop there make signs, which is boring. So I show up, I'm like, look at the dagger I made.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, you're looking for, actually look for sign making places, especially if you need plastic, because they have lots of really cool stuff there. But as far as most of the mold making stuff and casting stuff, I get from Smooth On, and again, like Jordan was saying, I will order that stuff from the old internet, and they just mail it to me, which is very convenient. How about, do you have a favorite hardware store or a favorite like arts and crafts type store?
Um, we have. I don't know. Do you guys have Michaels? Michaels craft
Michaels?
store.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So like some stuff from there, but if you ever go to Michaels, they always have 40% coupons on. So
yeah.
their prices aren't the greatest, but
Same thing with Joann's. They've got an app. If you need
yeah,
cloth or stuff, you'll use that app, and there's always like a 40% off coupon or something.
yeah. Another place that I end up going a lot, and this won't help you at all, is Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
For any of the if you're up in Canada, you can find lots of good stuff there.
Now, we don't have one of these near here, but I know a lot of people love McMaster's cars. Uh, McMaster car, CARR. Here we go. Again, we don't have one, but they have all kinds of cool crap here, for that's so useful for prop making, we don't have one here. Damn it. Apparently, you can order them online, so check that out. But as far as local places go, we have craft stores like Michael's around here too, and I like those a lot. Thank you. It's Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the United States from wherever it is you're journeying from. I'm going to guess New Zealand. All right. Got about 10 minutes left here. Let's see. Let's guys answer some more questions. Gilbert Tees wants to know, are people still making costumes out of paper mache? And I say yeah, because it's really, really cheap. And not toxic. That's the best part. You can you can do it in your apartment.
Yep. A friend of mine just made a really cool. She did a gender bent Brock from Pokemon, and she made a giant paper mache onyx.
Nice.
Yeah.
It ends up being pretty lightweight, pretty sturdy, and pretty cheap. So yeah. I would especially say for any youngsters out there just getting into it, that's a really great medium to work with because you're going to have paper anyway, like old newspapers and stuff, and the rest of it's really cheap. So go for it. What's that stuff? I think Crayola makes it. It's like a sculpting, like a paper sculpting. I wish I remember what it was. I saw something on Reddit. Someone made the mask from the Jim Carrey movie, The Mask.
Okay.
But I think it was sculpted out of like something from a craft store like Michael's. It was like water-based sculpting medium. You can do some really amazing stuff with that. Put a lot of time into it.
That's the thing. You can make anything out of anything if you have enough time and patience.
Yep. Or if you're really stubborn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gilbertese, for your question. Let's see. This next one's coming from Bob. He wants to know, I'm thinking about starting a prop making business. What kind of people should I market to, or should I just put my products on the internet? Finding your market is basically running an internet business. Like that's what you're doing. And for me, originally, my market was people who liked Skyrim and Mass Effect. Fortunately, there are a lot of people who like Skyrim and Mass Effect. And I just stumbled into those because I like those two things, and I made some stuff from those games, so I just sort of fell into that market. And fortunately, there isn't any sign that it's drying up. People still love Skyrim. People still love Mass Effect. For Jordan, I'm sure like the Borderlands thing kind of worked out really well for you, and you already liked it a lot.
Definitely. Yeah.
I will tell you this though, Bob. I don't just do props. I have an ebook that I'm selling. I have blueprints and stuff. I've got my YouTube channel where I don't, people don't pay to do that, but I'm still selling you me and my videos. My market for that is usually beginners. People who are just getting into cosplay. Who I'm trying to lower the barrier to entry to get more people into it, because there are a lot more beginners than there are professionals, so I can get a bigger chunk of that market. And also, that's where I can have the most impact, is by helping beginners, helping people get into it. So yeah, I would recommend going for, like, if you're trying to sell stuff, going for a niche market can work if you get all of that niche. But otherwise, go for things that have mass appeal, at least when you're starting, before you've made a name for yourself. Yeah, so good luck with that, and hang on to your day job for as long as you can, because it's really hard work to make money doing this.
Yep.
Let's see, what kind of people should I market to? Yeah, but Bob, if you're... Oh, you know what? I'll tell you this. This is a sort of an interesting aside. I started making props because I couldn't afford to buy props from other people. It's really what it came down to. So as someone now who sells props to people, I have to keep that in mind. I'm not selling fully made props to people like me. I'm selling them to people who have more money than free time, is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So that's just something else to keep in mind. That all sound like that made sense, Jordan?
Oh yeah, no. Right on track.
There we go. Thank you for your question, Bob. Got about 5 minutes left. We can answer a couple more of these. Another one from Xander. Either of you ever made armor for a Death Knight or a Paladin from World of Warcraft? And what sort of material would you make it out of? I've never done either of those, but I would go with EVA foam because I love it. How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I've done I've done some Skyrim armor and different things, and EVA foam usually. And the same thing, never those specific armor sets, but I'm starting to use actually for a League of Legends costume. I'm starting. No plans to finish it anytime soon, but never hurts to have too many projects on the go.
No kidding.
Well, it kind of does, but I'm using Sintra for this one.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's another. It's kind of a foam core, heat formable plastic.
I did that. Yeah, it's a PVC plastic, foamed PVC plastic, and I did my Dragon Age armor out of that. And what I found is if you're making armor that's kind of angular or flat with lots of flat pieces, that's a really great medium to work with.
Yeah.
You can make complex curves with it, but it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, no, that's definitely especially like this more sci-fi stuff. Definitely, foam is great for all those smooth curves and that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And if you're looking for something to help you out, I have an ebook out. Hooray! PunishedProps.com, the Foamsmith trilogy. If you want to learn all about making foam armor, there you go. All right, Xander. So good luck with your Death Knight and/or Paladin. Maybe I'll see him at BlizzCon this year, and he'll have a Paladin, and that'll be awesome. I hope it's the Tier 2 Paladin set because that was my favorite.
Oh.
All right.
The Tier 2 armors, those are the best sets.
Yeah, they really are. Did you ever play World of Warcraft, Jordan?
Oh yeah. I want to. My dream to build set from World of Warcraft is the Tier 2 Wrath Warrior armor.
Oh, it's so good. I talk about World of Warcraft for the next half an hour. I actually just recently stopped raiding again with World of Warcraft so that I could have time to play WildStar. But yeah, I was recently just tanking and DPSing with my warrior.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more questions before I get dragged into World of Warcraft talk. Jordan, when are you going to get Bill to come up to the Great White North for conventions like Edmonton Expo?
I was talking to him. Yeah. Well, you said you want to come to Calgary next year.
Yeah, that one is definitely on my list of ones I gotta go to. So
yeah.
I can't promise right now, but it's a high priority for sure.
Yeah. And that one's a ways off. Next April. But yeah. Well, if you have some time off, I think in October there's Edmonton Expo in Alberta.
Okay.
So only a couple hours further north. But it's definitely it's a growing one, a little smaller than Calgary, but definitely I'm hoping to make it out there for it this year, but nothing set in stone yet.
Cool. Yeah. I have a long list of ones I'm hoping I get to. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yes, Dan, maybe I'll meet all you guys up in Canada soon. Last one here from my pal Nick. He wants to know, Bill, do you have a Blizzard-themed costume plan for BlizzCon? And he also wants to know if Jordan has made anything from any Blizzard franchises. I will go first. My wife and I are going to BlizzCon, and we have ideas. We have many ideas. We have not picked one out yet because DragonCon hasn't happened yet, and we haven't picked anything for that yet either. So we got to do that first. But we have some really good ideas, Nick. And in fact, I'm excited to see what Nick turns out because he did a really cool Varian Rin costume last year.
Yeah, there are always some awesome costumes at BlizzCon.
Oh yeah. Have you done any Blizzard themed stuff, Jordan?
I haven't done any costumes yet. Again, I want to go to BlizzCon, so
yeah.
If that ends up working out, I'll definitely do something for that. There are a few I want to do. A dream costume for me would be to do like with the big wings and horns.
Illidan?
Yeah.
I did. Oh, here you go. I did his Warglaive a couple years ago.
Okay.
3 or 4 years ago, a long time ago. But yeah, Warglaives.
Yeah. No, that's a dream one to do, but that'll take a lot of time.
Oh, definitely.
That time right now.
I saw at BlizzCon last year. I saw the giant Illidan statue that they have, and that thing is awesome. And I also met Liam O'Brien, the guy who does the voice of Illidan. You are not prepared. Yeah. So here it is. Here's my thing. I even made the edges of it glow green. That was really cool. A lot of fun.
That is.
And I don't know where that is anymore. Someone won it in a contest, and it's gone forever. All right, hey everyone, we're just about done here. We answered a whole bunch of your questions, and I would like to thank all of you for showing up and asking questions. Because if you don't do that, then we don't have any content for the show. So thank you guys so much for your awesome questions. Thank you,
Lots of
Jordan,
fun.
for showing up.
No, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It was an honor, sir. Let me see here. Let me throw people at your page one more time. Again, folks, this is Jordan's page here. If you go to look up Henchmen props and cosplay on Facebook, there you'll find everything that he's all about, and especially this super cool photo shoot you just did with Jessica with Mad Moxie. How awesome is that? So there you go, folks. Go see what Jordan's all about, and go like his page and go buy his stuff on Etsy because it's really cool.
There's lots of fun things up there.
Oh, definitely. I want to buy them all. All right, everyone. I will see you all next week. Thank you again for showing up. So long.
Bye. Thank you.